Welcome back to the GCC podcast powered by Gateway. I'm your host, Suchita Vishnoi, and today we are joined by a leader who has spent over 2 decades building, scaling, and transforming global capability centers into engines of enterprise value. Our guest is Tushar Gawande, India site leader and head of the Global Shared Services Center at Anglo Eastern. Anglo Eastern is one of the world's leading ship management companies, trusted globally for safe, efficient, and sustainable operations. At Anglo Eastern, Tushar is spearheading transformation of the India Shared Services Center into a strategic growth partner, going beyond cost efficiency to deliver innovation, agility, and long term resilience for the enterprise. Across his career, Tushar has led complex GCC and GBS setups across Europe, the US, and Asia, driving governance, digital transformation, and high performance cultures that turns service centers into business accelerators. Tushar, it's a pleasure to have you on the GCC podcast today. Welcome.
Thank you, Suchita, and thank you for the invite to this podcast. And thank you for the lovely introduction. I would say that this really put me under a peer pressure now because you praised me a lot. Now, definitely, I need to make it far up in next 20 minutes. So, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Tushar. Tushar, I must mention I love the symbolic of shipping. That's the industry you represent right behind you. So it looks gorgeous. Your setting is beautiful.
And that also resonate that I have also shown the plan because we have to be efficient in shipping, but we have to also ensure that we have to be green also in terms of a culture, right? So,
Thanks. And I must mention this is the unique industry type that we've never interviewed anyone on the podcast till date. So you're the first of its kind. And I'm personally very excited to have you here. So now, Tushar, we've heard about your incredible journey and the impact you're driving at Anglo Eastern. I'd love to take this conversation further with some questions that deep dive into your experience and perspective, especially of leading GCCs. So, my first question to you today is more industry focused. I'd like to ask you, Tushar, you spent 2 decades building and scaling global capability centers across geographies, right? And now you're leading the transformation at Anglo Eastern India Shared Service Center. From your vantage point, how do you see GCCs in India evolving beyond efficiency hubs into true value creators for global organizations?
it's a fantastic start to for this podcast, Suchita. And you're spot on that it's been a
Thank you.
journey moving from a cost arbitrage perspective to the value creation. But to this, we need to first understand that why we are calling it as a value creation. So, what is making it more evident for Indian GCCs to call it as a typical value creator? That we are actually moved from this transactional back office work and now we see GCCs owning the end-to-end product development. We see GCCs driving digital transformation, facilitating the R&D efforts. Most importantly, this is something that we always talk in our peer groups that our ability now to drive one of the top three priorities of our CEOs is basically making it more evident that we are more into the partnering approach now. Be it enhancing customer satisfaction or hitting the top or the bottom line. This is something that we have started contributing to the parent organization, and that creates a value because value always has a measured outcome. So you can say that we are creating a value only when you can attach it to some business outcome which is evident in nature, which is tangible. As I say, it may be enhancing customer experience, basically launching the products, go to market strategy. This basically making GCC is evident nowadays, and that is reason we are saying that we are a real value creator. But let me give you my perspective that what it takes to do here, reach here, because last 20 years has seen that from the all the transition where the GCCs has been seen, starting from a captive to a shared services to a GIC, GBS, and now GCC, because there are a lot of parameters that help us to reach here. The most
Mhm.
important part would be a talent. In last 20 years, I never seen the Indian talent industry disappointing GCCs. Be it engineers, be it scientists, domain expert, we always had it whenever we wanted. So we got a deep multidisciplinary talent that basically excel our businesses. Second would be ecosystem maturity. I would say when it comes to GCCs, it's not a game of a single entity. It's all the pillars that work together. Be it academia, university and colleges, they are nurturing the good talent. I've seen universities into GCC conferences nowadays. Basically, they really want to see what happening inside the GCC ecosystem, what talent they need to nurture after a couple of years when they get into industry.
Yes.
We see startups, they're inventing something and everything every day, and There are a lot of off-shelf AI and ML products they are launching nowadays, and which is helping GCCs to excel to do their pilot. And it really helps because when it comes to startups, they get it's a win-win situation. They get enterprise reach, they get a funding. For us, we get the ready-made talent with the emerging technologies. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Consulting, they had done a fantastic role in the last couple of years by launching matrices, assessment things. And last is about the governmental support. So that's something we were talking before some time, that when I was in Kochi, we saw the government of Kerala doing the wonderful things to boost GCC
Yes.
ecosystem, be it social
Yes.
infrastructure, concession and subsidy. So I think these all are things that really making us to drive that value. And I think that's making us more visible as a value creator rather than a cost arbitrage.
Thank you. Thank you for your response. And I love the fact that you, zeroed down a lot on talent, right? Because that is the crux of what GCCs really do to deliver value. So, moving to my next, in your role, you've driven large scale digital transformation, intelligent automation, and governance frameworks while managing multi geography operations. And we know how complicated it gets from geography to geography. What are some practical strategies leaders can adopt to balance cost optimization with innovation and workforce transformation inside a GCC?
Absolutely, Suchita. I couldn't agree more that the ecosystem has changed now. I still
Yes.
remember those days. For me, the success KPI was before 20 years that whether I'm able to overlap 1 hour with US so that I can do
Yes.
the transition. And can I build SOPs? Can I build KPIs and I can show? But now, for every GCC leader, value definition of value has changed. Now we need that called discipline and innovation hand in hand, but not at the cost of the to stay relevant, right? So GCCs are today now expected to deliver both productivity and innovation, but it should complement each other. And it's something that boards are expecting now. So when we go to boards now and we talk about the innovation, the first question is that okay, you drive customer experience. We want you to do the speed to market. We want digital measure maturity. We want you to contribute in enhancing our ultimate customer, but you have to also make sure that you're not spending too much. Like, it's a challenge, I would say, for all of us. And what add to this is the our talent in India. So it's a blessing in disguise. I would say we really got a talented workforce, but then again, you need to retain them. So we got Indian wage inflation. We also got a competitive hiring market, right? So this makes the entire proposition very difficult. But again, from my perspective, over the years, what I learned is that there are some go-to strategies really help me to balance cost and innovation is that whatever we want to do in terms of the OPEX saving, we used to redeploy it to bring the innovation or to fund the innovation. So there is no need to ask for more. You save something and you deploy to the come the result. We always invested in the flexible talent strategy. So you invest into people, but based upon the outcome-based career path. So let's get out of that rudimentary way of progressing people based upon their role spent, year spent, or based upon what kind of a job title they have, rather than have a progression of the people based upon some measurable impact like cost saving. You can have product launches, you can have customer experience gains, and then give that progression path. And most importantly, that what we were able to do over the years is that the governance framework. So always say at GCCs, you should be able to quantify everything you do at center,
Yes.
so that what you quantify, you measure, and what you measure, you report. Right? It's really important. And I think all these reasons or all these, I would say, parameter really help us to make sure that we continue to innovate, but we also have a conscious eye on the cost.
Thank you. Thank you. You covered a lot of breadth there. You've spent so many years doing this, right? And as someone who has successfully navigated GCC setups from ground up, and now you're shaping future ready shared services. What is your vision for the GCC of 2030? All of us are gunning for that 2030, right? 5 years from now. And how will AI automation and leadership culture redefine the way global enterprises are going to leverage these capability centers?
So exactly the future is very clear. Suchitan, what I mentioned to you before some time that we are at right place at right time. Okay, so by 2030, GCCs are definitely going to run end-to-end businesses, not only the shared services
Yes.
or the GCCs. We already anticipate 2000 plus GCCs coming into India by 2030, employing close to 3 million people. And I was going through AI report yesterday, and it talks about that we may reach close to by 110 billion by 2030. So future is fantastic. It
Yes.
is going to be significant. So definitely, if I look at 2030, our ecosystem is definitely going to drive more ownership and more AI mandate. But again, we always say that what took us here won't take us there, right? So what we are here right now because of the lot of efforts we took in the
Yes.
past. But we will be very
Past. Yes.
cautious that we continue taking that efforts in coming years so that we see a 2020 a very significant milestone And that's the reason definitely we need to have more inclination on building up more AI and ML solution as a part of a POCs. We have to work on agentic AI. It is going to be a future. We have to have more emphasis on using predictive analytics for better decision making, beat supply chain risk and customer experience. Most importantly, as a leader, we have to have that business ownership because that's the only way to gain that trust and confidence. You see a lot of CIOs and CTOs in India, right? Because we have earned that respect and that I would say ownership. That is the reason we should have that full PLN responsibility at India, so that we work as a partner to the parent organization. So definitely, it is going to be a bright future, and I definitely see that this is going to influence the enterprise strategy, not only the execution in coming years. So it's going to be really fantastic fun to witness that in coming years.
Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned the numbers because, yes, there is an ASCOM report that also talks about 110 billion. But moving from 68 billion to 110 billion is exponential growth in the coming 5 years. And like you said, the whole partnership between parent organization and the GCC is going to make that happen. So thank you. Tushar, this has been an insightful discussion. I'd love talking to you. But before we wrap up, let's just shift gears and head into the fun part of our podcast, which is the rapid fire round. So
Okay.
I'll throw a few quick questions covering work, life, and a little bit of fun, and you've got to answer in just a few words or a sentence. Are you ready? Okay. So, what is that one productivity hack you swear by that you think has worked for you and you'd like to share here?
Okay, so for me, everything is urgent, but not everything is a priority. Second
Okay.
thing, I have scheduled the specific blocks of the time in the day. And for me, Thursday is a no meeting day. So Thursday is
Oh, okay,
only
lovely.
dedicated, and I ensure that I do everything productive as much as possible for Thursday so that I'm available for my rest of organization over the week.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a good learning for all of us to, include one day. A lot of us actually keep Friday aside for just one-on-one catch-ups, but this is a good one. Thank you. So, if you had my second one here, if you had a time machine, would you go to the past or the future? What would you do?
Definitely, I would go to past because I really want to witness the wonderful, significant history what we had, and
Okay.
if I get opportunity to witness that, I'd be more than happy.
Okay, if you were to ask me this question, I'd want to go to the future because I really want to see how AI can transform our life by 2050. Life would be so different. But thank you for sharing the reason you would want to go to the past. My last one here, what's your favorite travel destination so far? I know you've worked across geographies, but which is your favorite one?
Amsterdam in Netherlands.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, especially during the tulips time. So, thanks for sharing. That brings us to the end of today's episode of the GCC podcast. Tushar, thank you for joining us and for giving us such a clear perspective on how GCCs can evolve from operational hubs into strategic partners that truly deliver enterprise growth. For our listeners, we hope you found this conversation as insightful as we did. Don't forget to follow, share, and stay tuned for more episodes featuring leaders who are redefining the GCC landscape. Until we meet again, keep leading with impact and keep building for the future. Thank you.